Battle through the heavens, Grand World. Chapter 157 Mysterious Enemy. Wu. When Xiao Yan looked around, another painful roar of the profound marked Pixiu came from the air. After that, another profound marked Pixiu landed heavily on the ground. It was only a few meters away from Xiao Yan. Xiao Yan frowned when he saw that the profound marked Pixiu hadn't fallen even after suffering such a serious injury. Instead, it roared and wanted to stand up again. He rushed forward and instantly unleashed the Sky Spill Fist. A huge force violently struck the injured part of the profound marked Pixiu. After being strengthened by the body tempering liquid, Xiaoyan's body strength was comparable to an ordinary emperor. This punch immediately caused the profound marked Pixiu to howl in pain, and the red light in its eyes became denser and denser. At the same time, the murderous aura on the profound marked Pixiu's body became heavier and heavier. Its blood-red eyes stared at Xiao Yan, and it kept roaring towards the sky. When Xiao Yan saw this, his expression suddenly became serious. The normally peaceful heavenly beast suddenly became like this. If it wasn't because of the external conditions, then it was because of the changes in his body. Thinking of this, Xiao Yan's enormous soul energy instantly spread out from between his brows. His middle period of alien stage soul spread out like a large net, and began to search for this forest. When he landed on the ground, Xiao Yan instinctively felt a trace of a frightening feeling, as if there was a light on his back. This feeling was even more obvious now. Compared to the past, the soul force that was much stronger had almost covered the entire forest. Xiao Yan held his breath and focused his mind, using his instinct to feel the fear that caused his scalp to go numb. Boom! At this moment, another profound marked Pixiu fell to the ground in a sorry state. It pressed down on a few giant trees, and painful screams kept sounding out. Lin Jian slowly landed on the ground, calming his breathing. Logically speaking, after suffering such a heavy attack, ordinary low-level Lin Jians couldn't move. But these two heavenly beasts, whose combined strength was inferior to the low-grade profound marked Pixius, were actually so powerful. Wu. The profound marked Pixiu that was struck down by Lin Jian struggled. Although blood was flowing out from its body, the murderous aura slowly became grave. The red glow in its eyes suddenly became even more intense after a moment of condensation. After which, it staggered and stood up while roaring. Yes. When the red light flashed in the profound marked Pixiu's eyes, Xiao Yan suddenly frowned. He immediately looked at a huge rock not far away. Immediately, his soul energy condensed into a single piece and he attacked the huge rock without hesitation. Buzz! As soon as the soul power hit the rock, there was a sound in the air. Then, a strange feeling filled the air, making Xiaoyan's soul power tremble. Lin Jian also felt it. He looked around in surprise and finally looked at the huge rock not far away. Xiaoyan's eyes were fixed on the huge rock. In the next moment, a black figure gradually appeared. Looking at the sudden appearance of the black-robed man, Xiao Yan frowned. He could actually feel an indescribable sense of panic from this black-robed man, especially his blood-red eyes. It was as if he would fall into his eyes if he took a glance at him. "Who are you?" Lin Jian was also startled by the sudden appearance of the black-robed man. Immediately after, he let out a stern shout, and the short knife in his hand appeared, emitting a sharp light. The man in black was short, and his entire body was covered by the black robe. Only his eyes were exposed, and his eyes were filled with blood. If one looked closely, the blood seemed to be flowing slowly. These two profound marked Pixius are controlled by you. Seeing that the black-robed man didn't say anything, Xiao Yan looked at the struggling profound marked Pixius under his feet, and said with a cold expression. When the black-robed man heard this, for the first time, his blood-red eyes seemed to have some life force in them. His eyes stared at Xiao Yan and Lin Jian, and his hoarse voice slowly sounded, "Kiki. How is it? These two heavenly beasts, whose strength can't even reach the low-grade heavenly beast, have their strength increased by a lot under my control." When they heard the words of the black-robed man, Xiao Yan's and Lin Jian's expressions changed slightly. Xiao Yan secretly exhaled a breath of air. It seemed like his guess was correct. There was indeed someone controlling him. Lin Jian looked at the black-robed man in shock. What did this guy do to allow these two heavenly beasts, which had barely reached the level of an emperor, to possess the strength to fight an ordinary monarch emperor? "What do you want?" He stared at the man in black's blood-red eyes. Xiao Yan said word by word. The origin monarch key in his body began to circulate quietly. He couldn't see the strength of this man in front of him, not even his soul force could detect him. It was impossible for Xiao Yan to be careless when facing an unknown enemy. The black-robed man's body trembled. He didn't make any moves. He had already arrived not far away from Xiao Yan and Lin Jian. He glanced at the two struggling profound marked Pixius and said in a gloomy voice. Since these two trash have been defeated, then it's useless. After saying that, he stretched out his hand and clenched it into a fist. When the man in black spoke, Xiao Yan sensed that something was wrong. When he saw the man reach out his hand, Xiao Yan's eyelids twitched. He shouted at Lin Jian, "Brother Lin, leave quickly." After saying that, a gust of wind blew under his feet. 9 revolving wind shifting technique was instantly unleashed. Lin Jian's figure flashed after he regained his senses. Accompanied by the faint sound of thunder and wind, the two of them quickly distanced themselves from this place. In the next moment, the two struggling profound marked Pixius suddenly howled in pain. The red light in their eyes shone brightly. Shortly after, the surface of their bodies was instantly covered with blood-colored patterns. The moment the patterns appeared, the two profound marked Pixius bodies suddenly exploded. The huge impact caused the nearby trees to be cut in half, and dust filled the air. The black-robed man looked at Xiao Yan and the other man with blood-red eyes. His emotionless voice sounded once again, "You hid pretty quickly. The two profound marked Pixius just now were just a test. Now, I'll let you guys have a look at this." After saying that, the black-robed man waved his hand. A dazzling blood-red light flashed in his blood-red eyes, and then a roar of pain came from afar, and upon hearing this voice, Xiao Yan and Lin Jian's facial expression turned serious. When they saw the giant red lion in the sky, Xiao Yan was shocked. This giant lion, when he and Zhou Yuan were planning Suo Quan's treasure in Forest Domain, they had met on that rainy night. It was the barbaric bloody lion. Currently, the barbaric bloody lion seemed to have mutated. 2 blood-red wings were stretched out from its broad back. Its blood-red eyes were staring at Xiao Yan and Lin Jian below. Its originally ferocious face was now even more terrifying. It kept letting out low and deep roars, as if it was an ancient ferocious beast that was ready to devour someone. Let me give you a reminder. This barbaric bloody lion has at least the strength of 8 monarch emperor warriors. It can even fight an emperor cultivation warrior. My first proud creation will start with the two of you. The black-robed man's voice rang out once again, and then a red light flashed in his eyes. It was as if the barbaric bloody lion had received an order, and it roared furiously towards the sky. Then, it rushed towards Xiao Yan and Lin Jian who were standing on the ground. I'll go and deal with it. Brother Mr. Xiao, you must be careful. Clenching his teeth tightly, Lin Jian let out a furious roar. The wings on his back flapped, and he rushed towards the barbaric bloody lion that was filled with a murderous aura. A man and a beast collided fiercely, creating a deafening sound that shook the sky. After that, Lin Jian was forced back dozens of steps in the air. The barbaric bloody lion only shook its body for a moment, then it let out a bloodthirsty roar and charged towards Lin Jian once again. Xiao Yan retracted his gaze from the sky. He stared at the black-robed man in the distance and said in a serious voice. That barbaric bloody lion was controlled by you, right? Since that's the case, as long as I kill you, then your control over it will be lifted. At the end of his words, Xiao Yan's voice was filled with thick killing intent. You, a puny monarch spirit, want to attack me? The black-robed man who saw Xiao Yan's strength sneered and said, didn't you want to know my identity? Fine. As long as you can withstand my attack, I will tell you. Otherwise, a dead man is not worthy to know. As he spoke, the black-robed man extended a hand, and a ball of bloody light quickly condensed in his hand. When Xiao Yan saw this, he pursed his lips and said with a cold smile, then let's give it a try. Chapter end. Hi guys, please like, comment, share, and subscribe.